CNN's Brian Stelter is making headlines again this week for the usual reason. He's the subject of widespread mockery.
Which sounds great, but not all opinions are created equal. You think about major newsrooms like CNN that have health departments and desks and operations that work hard on verified information on. And then you have talk show stars like Joe Rogan who just wing it, who make it up as they go along. And because figures like Rogan are trusted by people that don't trust real newsrooms, we have a problem that's much bigger than Spotify, much bigger than any single platform, Kate. But that's what's at the heart of this right now.
Yeah, but you're right. It is getting at something bigger that isn't going to be solved in one Joe Rogan video or one statement from Spotify. That's for sure.
Ted, you wrote on Twitter about Spotify. You went viral for a comment about it yesterday. Tell us your point of view first about this Spotify mess, because it's really dominated the week.
Yeah, what I think is interesting about the backlash against Spotify vis-a-vis Joe Rogan is that people are fundamentally angry about not being able to stop his audience from wanting news that is bad for them, wanting something that's bad for them. So, we're all haunted by the specter of this guy who's listening to Joe Rogan and internalizing this bad information and making bad choices as a result. But Rogan is like a weed that sprang up outside the mainstream media ecosystem, and he thrived there, and he has this huge audience. And that's what's really scary, that Spotify could kick him off tomorrow, and it wouldn't make a dent. It wouldn't make a dent in his audience. People would still listen to him. And crucially, they still wouldn't trust more mainstream media sources. And I think that's what's really, really frightening to people.
It's scary and frightening. Nobody trusts the mainstream media anymore.
I think the media has done a terrible job on this. I think you yourself, while you're a nice guy, you're full of sanctimony. You become part of one of the parts of the problem of the media. You come on here and you have a monopoly on truth. You know exactly how things are supposed to be done. You are one of the reasons people can't stand the media. Sorry.
You're cracking me up.
It's your fault.
So, what should I do different, Michael?
Don't talk so much. Listen more. People have genuine problems with the media. The media doesn't get the story right. The media exists in its own bubble.
That's true. I agree.
You gotta stop. I mean, that last segment that I just had to listen to of all of the people saying the same old stuff. Also, you're incredibly repetitive. It's week after week. I mean, you're the flip side of Donald Trump. Fake news, and you say virtuous news.
We just figure out what is real.
I mean,
I'm listening.
Well, figuring out what is real is not so easy, and right. Most people don't want to turn to Brian Stelter to tell us what's real. I'm sorry.
Well, then why'd you bother coming on CNN a few times this week?
I'm a book salesman. I mean this with truly no disrespect, but I think you can border on being sort of quite a ridiculous figure.
He is ridiculous. I mean, what's next? Is he going to start salivating over his lunch live on the air? Oh, wait, what's this?
This is my lunch. I just pulled it out of the fridge. Ham and cheese on whole wheat. All these ingredients taste just fine on their own, but they're a whole lot better together.
Don't talk so much. Listen more. You are full of sanctimony. You're incredibly repetitive. To which the anchor said, it's hard to imagine a more succinct summation of modern media than that. Sanctimonious and stupid. Exactly. Smart people understand their own flaws. Self-righteousness is for morons.
Poor Humpty Dumpty. We'll have more later. Tucker, thank you.
Carlson is sounding more and more like InfoWars host and notorious conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. You can hear the similarities.
The NSA has been reading our emails.
It's not that I think the government spies on me. It's admitted that they do it.
So FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, according to government documents.
It is overwhelming, the evidence that criminal elements of the federal government provocateured and staged January 6th.
All right, Oliver Darcy is back with me. I think this sound speaks for itself. Is it a stretch to say that Tucker Carlson is the new Alex Jones?
It's not a stretch, Brian. Tucker Carlson is the new Alex Jones. If you watch Tucker Carlson's program and you watch Alex Jones's program, they might differ a little bit in antics and the way they deliver their message, but that message to viewers is consistent, and it's pretty identical.
Brian Stelter's making headlines this week for the usual, humiliating himself again.
You're right. There are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what ways has the world gone mad?
Well, when you have the chief reporter on the beat of COVID for the New York Times talking about how questioning or pursuing the question of the lab leak is racist, the world has gone mad. When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad. When we're not allowed to acknowledge that rioting is rioting and it is bad, and that silence is not violence, but violence is violence, the world has gone mad. When we're not able to say that Hunter Biden's laptop is a story worth pursuing, the world has gone mad. When, in the name of progress, young school children, as young as kindergarten, are being separated in public schools because of their race, and that is called progress rather than segregation, the world has gone mad.
Part of the reason I enjoy mocking him so much is because I'm a media analyst. In case you didn't know, I have a bachelor's degree in communication from California State University, and he is CNN's media analyst. And a media analyst is different than a reporter. Instead of just reporting on stories, we sort of analyze why certain stories are actually produced, go viral, the effects of media on the culture, etc.
CNN's Brian Stelter becomes a laughingstock. Every time I see him, I hear Mark Dice. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
They criticized Nancy Pelosi, screams the eunuch. That's not allowed. They must be excluded.
And then just to make matters worse for Stelter, his own show performed better last week when John Avalon filled in for him. So he had better ratings whenever he was on vacation for a show that literally has his name on it.
You can't do without Donald Trump. You would be lost without Donald Trump.
Well, that is what he says. Ted, you know that's not true.
CNN's ratings would be in the toilet without Donald Trump.
I just had to call in because I think CNN is so liberal. And I think Fox is great.
This new report about YouTube, it's up on the TTP website. It's more evidence, Oliver, of something that's been emerging for years, right? But not only are the echo chambers really, really insidious, they're also louder, more on one side than the other.
Right, and I don't think it comes as a surprise to anyone, including the folks at YouTube, right, that their recommendation algorithm is really a radicalization machine. And the thing is, what are they going to do about this problem?
You know what I'm going as.
What are you going as?
Brandon. Okay, we'll be right back.
Let's go, Brandon.
Little Brian Stelter declared that it was, quote, barely newsworthy, while literally leading with that story on his Sunday morning show.
The major networks did not carry Donald Trump's Saturday night rally. Even Fox News ignored it. But Fox is serving the ex-president's agenda in lots of other ways. Reporters likened the rally to a revenge tour, and Fox sure knows revenge. To understand why so many Republicans have abandoned democracy, to see why so many believe the big lie, to get why so many are trying to rewrite voting rules, you have to hear the poisonous propaganda that the GOP's activist base is listening to. So, that's what I did this week. I watched every episode of Sean Hannity's show, and I color-coded it. As you can see right here, I focused on his language, the insults, the phrases that he repeats every night. Nasty little words like these.
Socialist, stalker, weak, failure, shameless, psychotic indoctrination, hellholes.
And that's just the beginning. Look, the beginning of the Biden years is not the end of Trump's war on truth. The fractures, the fault lines of the Trump era are very much still with us. I'm talking about the mainstreaming of conspiracy thinking, the demonizing of others, the gaslighting that's going on. Trump himself can't tweet anymore, so he's not quite as visible, and lots of folks don't want to hear about him at all anymore. And his apologists say everyone should just move on and forget about his years of misconduct. But it's not over. It's not in the past. Besides, it's not really about him anymore. It's about his acolytes now. The Trump-era war on truth is being waged every day by his lieutenants.
A lot of people were shocked that I was able to take this completely unknown weekend host and turn him into a star. Well, if you could call becoming a laughingstock a star, but you get my point.
By the way, we don't mean to be mean or anything. It's just if all signs point to one conclusion, get out of media immediately. Get out of media. Maybe it's time to get out of media.
Jeff Zucker's departure was shocking to the staff at CNN. This place is not perfect. It will never be perfect. We will always have flaws. We will always screw up. We'll always have to run corrections. We'll always have to keep working to make it better and better and better every single day. That's the goal. But the people who say we're lacking in journalism, that we've become an all-talk channel, that we've run off and we're all opinions all the time, that Jeff Zucker led us astray, those people aren't watching CNN. They're not watching CNN. They're watching complaints about CNN on other channels that don't know what they're talking about. Do some of the anchors say provocative things? Yes. Do some of those clips get played over and over again on other channels and mislead people about what CNN actually is? Yes.
Do some of those clips get dubbed over by the world's greatest YouTube channel? Yes, they do. Here's the part where she imagines telling her mother about her incredible achievement.
I dream of going up to her and sitting down next to her, taking her in my arms and saying, look at me, listen to me. You will survive. You will have a good family of your own and 3 children. And as hard as it might be to imagine, your daughter will grow up and become the President of the United States.
Why would somebody do that to themselves? It is liberalism, and help spread the word. Order a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt from my online store at markdice.com, or click the link in the description below. Or what do you think of my new Science Proves Democrats Are Brain Dead shirt? Both available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com, or click the link in the description below, and check them out.